In small towns, people scent the wind with noses of uncommon keenness. Stephen King. That quote really doesn't have anything else to do with today's video aside from the fact that it's from Stephen King, and I wanted some kind of snazzy intro. Hey everybody, it's the Aries 1999 coming back at you with another video. In today's video, we're going to begin talking about incorporating the elements of Stephen King's books into Dungeons & Dragons. King has written over 50 novels, most of which are suspense fantasy thrillers. He wrote The Shining, Carrie, and It. Each of those have been made into video at least twice, and today we are going to start by looking at The Shining. If you are unfamiliar with the book, The Shining is about a recovering alcoholic named Jack Torrance who recently lost his job as a teacher for attacking a student. Then, during a drunken stupor, he broke his son's arm, and he's been off the booze ever since. His friend helped him land a job as the winter caretaker of the Overlook Hotel. While there, he is plagued by his internal demons of addiction and the external spirits of the hotel. I recommend giving it a read. It has some great psychological suspense to it. Although I should make a mild spoiler warning here since we're going to be discussing some of the elements of the book. Otherwise, how would we discuss putting them into D&D? But I'll try to avoid major plot points. In King's books, there are certain individuals who possess special psychic abilities. In The Shining, this ability is appropriately known as, well, The Shining.
He said it! He said it!
First, let's take a look at The Shining as an ability for the players. I recommend that if you want to be a quote-unquote shiner, use the wizard class, then depending on what type of powers you want would determine the wizarding school. For instance, if you wanted to be like Carrie from Carrie, you would be an evoker since she could throw stuff around and start fires. To give a specific example of what this all could look like, let's build Dan Torrance as a 5th level character. That would mean that he's a human divination wizard, and I built his spell list mostly off of what we see him do in The Shining and its sequel, but I did get a little creative with it. A wizard at that level gets 4 cantrips, so Message, Minor Illusion, and Mage Hand, and then I also threw in Firebolt because he needs an attack, and it felt like the most shining-y of the various attacking cantrips. And he would also be entitled to at least 14 other spells, and those spells can go up to level 3. So, 1. Comprehend languages, 2. Detect magic, 3. Shield, 4. Detect thoughts, 5. Hypnotic pattern, 6. Non-detection, 7. Hold person, 8. Locate object, 9. Clairvoyance, 10. Alarm, 11. Illusory script, 12. See invisibility, 13. Expeditious retreat, and 14. Dark vision. I hope those spells make sense for him. If you guys want, I might be able to make or find an extant Shiner class in the future. As for an adventure setting, The Shining takes place in the haunted Overlook Hotel, as I mentioned earlier, and it's secured in the Rocky Mountains, filled with the ghosts of the people who died there over the years. Perhaps the party could be called in to investigate the hotel. Getting up to the top of the mountain could have some adventures in it, of course. Black bears, mountain lions, and coyotes are all indigenous to the Rockies, so have fun with that. Once inside the hotel, they could start exploring the rooms from the record vault in the basement all the way up to the attic. For some encounters, zombies appearing in bathtubs when they weren't there before, spirits and shadows that come out of nowhere, fire hoses that turn into snakes, an apparently empty wasp's nest that summons insects when picked up, plantiforms of animals from the topiary garden that come to life. Every so often, maybe they just have to pass wisdom saving throws to not be affected by the house's dark energy. A blizzard could set in, making it hard for them to escape even after they finish the mission. And to have some fun, maybe the hotel bar spontaneously restocks itself. Towards the end of the mission, they could be chased around by a Jack Torrance-like villain. He could be a human barbarian, carrying his croquet mallet, of course, and that could have the stats of a warhammer. Perhaps this guy started as their NPC companion, but turns against them. Now, I know in the book, Jack was the quote-unquote final boss, but since this is D&D, let's add an additional powerful creature that is controlling the hotel. This could be something like a wraith or a zombie beholder. This battle should of course take place in room 217, the most haunted room of the entire Overlook Hotel. Maybe over the course of the encounter, something happens to where the building starts to collapse, so after they defeat the boss, they have a race against the clock to get out. By the way, as long as we're talking about haunted buildings, I recommend checking out the Mad Manor of Astabar. It is a short adventure module for a haunted mansion. It's easily my favorite module. If you use it, let me know how your players solve the shrinking room puzzle. Now, in the lesser known, but still very cool sequel to The Shining called Doctor Sleep, which actually just got a movie about it made, so you've probably heard about it, we find out about this mysterious group called the True Knot. They all shine and go across the country in recreational vehicles to hunt down shiners to consume their energy. They call this energy steam, and those with the shining they call steamheads. They are sort of like psionic vampires. If you want them, use them as villains, here are some ideas. Snakebite Andy could be an enchantress and have spells like Sleep, Charm Person, and Suggestion. Silent Sari was known for his stealth, so she could be an arcane trickster. Barry the Chink is a powerful locator, so he could be a diviner outfitted with spells like Hunter's Mark, Clairvoyance, and Locate Creature. Walnut was the group physician, so maybe he's a paladin devoted to the True Knot itself. He could have spells like Cure Wounds and Prayer of Healing. And the leader, Rose the Hat, could be a spellcasting vampire or perhaps just vampire spawn, depending on the level that you want to build for the encounter. For a quest, perhaps the party has to protect some steamhead from being hunted by the True Knot. Perhaps instead the party decides to track down the True Knot and eliminate them. You could throw this together with my modern-day D&D video. Perhaps this world is largely without magic, and The Shining is one of its few sources. Who knows? Maybe this marks the beginning of a whole Stephen King-themed campaign. So that is all I have for The Shining today. What other King books do you want me to talk about? I definitely think Rose Matter, Pet Sematary, and Salem's Lot could work into D&D. Tell me what you guys think down in the comments. Check out some of my other homebrew videos, which include stuff like Full Metal Alchemist, Shaolin Showdown, and using guns in D&D. I also run an actual play 5e podcast called Enter the Dungeon, a brotherly Pudcast. You can follow me on Twitter at taries1999. I will see you guys next time. Have a great day, and God bless.